Hello everybody and welcome. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to watch and fix your tactic when playing a friendly match. And let's get started by talking about preparation. Whenever I start my save and I'm getting ready to play my first friendly match, there are a few things I like to do. But before we get to that, remember that this is your team's first match of the season. You most likely have a new tactic as well, which means we're not looking for perfection just yet. All we're looking for in our tactic when playing the match is glimpses of success. So, here are the things I like to ask myself when playing that first friendly. The first is a big one. How is our player role interaction in possession? Do we have any players occupying the same space or running into each other? The second one is on that same topic. Are we creating chances or at least potential chances? I don't need to score 5 goals, but the tactic should be threatening. Finally, how is our defensive shape? Are there weaknesses or things to look out for? So with that stuff out of the way, in the next section, let's head to France. If you're familiar with some of my other videos, you know that I recommend not using any team instructions or player instructions when starting out with your tactic. This is because it not only allows you to see how your formation and player roles work together, but you can also experiment and see how those player roles interact with each other without worrying about team instructions getting in the way. This is Montpellier, and we've been working our way through the preseason in some recent videos. Our first friendly is a match against Osasuna. This is the tactic that we've got going into the match, a 4-2-3-1. This is our striker Adams, who looks like an excellent target forward. I want to see how he does in this role, specifically when interacting with the enganche, because these are two roles I generally don't use together. Also, I usually use a winger in this formation, so I wanted to try the inverted winger and see how that role interacts with the other attacking players. And importantly, I want to watch our defensive shape. Personally, I like to play compact and stay in our shape, so I'll need to watch our defense and see how our team is doing with that, and if I need to add in team instructions. The next section is going to be highlights from our friendly match, but if you're new to this type of analysis, I do have some tips for you. The big thing is to watch the entire first half. When just watching the highlights, you're only seeing the end result of a play. We need to see the moments where nothing happens, because something is happening, and that's usually where issues pop up. Here are the settings I use. With these settings, the first half should take about 20 to 30 minutes. This isn't relevant to tactic building or really this video, but one reason why I like to watch the full match is that you never know what's going to happen. When just watching highlights, when a highlight pops up, you know something's about to happen. When you watch everything, a great play can happen at any time, and this makes it very exciting. Another thing you can do when watching your match is take notes. Write down the time of the game and what happened. These don't need to be detailed. It can be time and simple descriptions of what happened. For me, I'll write down 4 minutes and 35 seconds, their scoring chance. Or at the 12-minute, 15-second mark, our good passing. By writing down the time, it gives you a chance to go back afterwards and see what really happened. The final thing to look for is glimpses of success. This would be things like a good defensive shape, a potential counter, a chance that didn't quite work out. This is our first friendly match, so things won't be perfect, but those glimpses can give you a preview of the true potential of your tactic. So, let's get to our friendly match and look at some highlights. Our first clip is about looking for the small plays. This is the opponent on the ball in the second minute, passing it around. But we're going to focus on my right wingback. He'll make a very risky tackle and vacate his fullback spot, leaving the entire flank open. But these are the types of things I look for. A couple of minutes later, we have a throw-in. This is an example of looking at player movement. Our target forward is going to help out in the midfield, and the enganche is going to swap with him. This type of interchange was really pleasing to see, and not something I was necessarily expecting. It helped lead to our scoring chance. So in this one, we're going to look at how I don't like our defensive shape. This is their player on the ball. As they progress it up the field, watch how my players are all chasing the ball. In this freeze frame, our defensive shape is nearly non-existent. We're able to recover, but again, that's something to take note of. Earlier, I mentioned about looking for small glimpses, and this counterattack is an example. Once again, the opponent is on the ball. My defensive midfielder intercepts the pass. He'll link up with the target forward and nearly get it to the inverted winger. It didn't work out, it was a close chance, but our target forward has made some plays. The last few examples we're going to look at is about player role movement. I was trying out the inverted winger because I was curious how the role would do in the tactic. But let's look at some examples of player role issues, specifically with our fullback on attack and our enganche. We'll start with this one on the ball and we get it up the field. Right now, my inverted winger just got the ball, and this is the enganche and this is the fullback. The enganche likes to stay around the middle of the field. The fullback on attack likes to tuck in and get forward, and the inverted winger likes to cut diagonally into the half space. What happens is they run into each other and we lose the ball. This is another example. Again, watch the fullback and inverted winger. They both want to move centrally and we lose our width with them standing next to each other. Whenever you get an issue like this, if you think it's an issue, decide what role is causing it. I have two player roles occupying the same space. I want to think about which movement I like and which one I don't like. Here it is again. This is the fullback on attack. I love how he's going to move into the half space and push forward. It's the inverted winger I find not really doing much. So the tactical change is going from an inverted winger to a winger. This is what the change looks like. Here's the fullback on attack, and this is now a winger on support. The fullback is going to make that same movement into the half space, but now the winger will stay wide. Our player movement and passing opens up the defense, and though the cross doesn't work, this is a glimpse on the movement I want to see. The winger even gets the assist on our goal a couple minutes later. The second half, I just played a bunch of youth players and backups to start getting our fitness up. We got a penalty in the second half and ended up winning 2-0. The last thing I want to go over is who to play in your friendlies, and that's to play everybody. It gets everybody's fitness levels up, sure, but the big impact is how it affects your team talk. So, if everybody plays and then you praise them, then they're all getting that benefit. For our team talk after the match, I told them that's about as comprehensive as it gets, and the entire squad reacted well. And then when you have a team bonding session the next day, you can improve your team cohesion and team morale in just a couple of days. As we wrap up, here's some of the changes I've made. There's now that winger on the left flank, and I adjusted some of our defensive shape. I made us more compact and then lowered the trigger press setting to try and keep that shape. A friendly reminder, I've got a Patreon account if you'd like to support the channel. And there's also a Discord link in the description if you'd like to talk about Football Manager. Anyway, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.